NIPrepper here. Today we've come to the woods again. Just going to do a couple of wee things, just a bit of fire building, a bit of cooking, maybe a bit of charcloth making, things like that. The original plan was to come out and do an overnighter, but unfortunately there was a severe weather warning put out that just would have made coming out really stupid. There's no point putting ourselves into those kind of dangerous situations, so we decided that it probably wasn't a good idea. So really all we're doing now is I've come out with my cameraman. What we're going to do is just do a bit of bushcraft, and I also have to have a wee chat as well about the future of the channel and things that are going on as well. So let's get to it. Okay, so the first mushroom we found here is actually quite an interesting one. It is the stinking puffball. Basically, it's a non-edible one, but you can see here the spores. Whenever you touch it, that's the actual spores of the mushroom coming out. So these are definitely not edible, unfortunately. So it's too bad because there's quite a few of them. But, you know, there might be some more, but so we're not giving up just yet. But it's definitely one I've not seen before, so that's a pretty interesting find. Okay folks, so stumbled on quite a batch of birch polypore here. I'm finding this really weird looking one here. It's like almost like two have grown out of one. It's really strange. But you can see why I think they look a wee bit like pancakes. Even just the colouring, and it's just a shame that you can't eat them. You can char them, turn them into a kind of tender fungus, which is pretty cool. And I mean, if you're cut, you can actually make it into a pretty effective impromptu antibacterial plaster using the skin. So that's always an option. But this forest here, where we are, is just absolutely packed full of birch polypore, and they're generally regarded as one of the most useful medicinal mushrooms. So while you can't eat it, it's definitely not one to just forget about. So yep. Definitely my favourite mushroom. Okay folks, so one of the things that we've found on the forest floor here is actually quite a cheeky nibble. It's these here, they call them wood sorrel, and if I can remember its scientific name, it's Oxalis something or other. I'll post a link down below, but it's a very common plant here in Ireland, and you've probably seen one. It's actually it looks a bit like a shamrock. I think it basically is a shamrock. That's the kind of the name for it really here. And the beauty of these is that they're actually completely edible. So you know, there's actually a wee bit of a lemony taste to it. It's actually really weird. It's not what you would be expecting from a plant. Yep. Definitely a wee taste of lemon there. You know, they're absolutely everywhere on the floor. I mean, you can just sort of see all around you. I mean, they're just everywhere. So they're definitely something that you can find. They're definitely something that you can find easily in Ireland, and they actually are really nice. You can make a tea out of them, and it apparently tastes a wee bit like lemsip, which personally I'm not sure if it's a good thing or not, because I always hated the stuff, but it would make an interesting tea to try out in the wild, so we might do that sometime. Probably not the best time to be eating them now, because they're generally, you know, it's getting into winter, so things aren't tasting as good as they would. But might be worth looking at next time. So. Okay, folks. So we're gonna get our fire going. Today I've built a tinder bundle just using a maple leaf and put all my tinder in it. The idea is that I light it here and then I lift it into the fire and let the flames go up, or lift it into the teepee, and then basically the flames will hopefully get this wood here. And then I've got a candle here, so once I've lit it, I'm going to actually light the candle and put that in as well, so that way there's always going to be a steady flame. And then I've got my kindling here ready to go on at a moment's notice. So let's give it a shot, see how we do. So it took a bit of work, but we've got it going. It is always harder to get a fire going in wet weather, and we put a few matches in just to give it a wee bit of a boost, so they seem to be paying off. Stick a bit of kindling on. You can see that the fire is definitely going well now. And you know, it's just important to never overestimate your own ability at getting the fire going. I think fire is not something to be taken for granted. It's something that needs to be, I think it needs to be respected, because it can hold the key between life and death in a very, very real way. So it's important never to overestimate your ability to get a fire going. But this should hopefully burn quite. So the fire's going really well now. It's actually, the TP is starting to collapse inwards, which is what we want. And just keep on topping it up with whatever kindling we have about. To be honest, the fire's going so well that we can actually put relatively wet kindling on it, and it dries out pretty quick. Because at this stage, you know, the fire will be going so intense that we don't really need to worry too much about stuff being wet, and most of it's already dry on the inside, so the fire quickly dries them. But as you can see, it's going with a good deal of ferocity now, so that's what we want. Just keep that going. Whoa. All right. Good job. Okay folks, so we've got our shelter, we've got our fire, and to be honest, it's nice and cozy. Could probably stay tonight if I was crazy enough. But yeah, I mean, it's a good site. It's nice and sheltered already from the tree above, and with this here, we're protecting ourselves from the wind and from rain as well. So it's a good wee site. We've got plenty of wood, and things are good. So what we're going to do next maybe is probably get food on the go, and then we might look at making some charcloth. Okay folks, so we're going to make a wee cook stand using this Y-shaped thing, and basically what we're going to do is we're just going to cut it into basically a stake down at the bottom so we can drive it into the ground. So this is the first time I've used on video the cold steel machete. It is a fantastic piece of kit. It is tough as nails, and it cuts like you wouldn't believe. But I will say this, always be careful when working with stuff like this. Cut away from you, and as you can see, the blade is going down and my feet are actually probably about 1.5 feet away. So always cut away from yourself. So here we go. And I think that'll do the job. Okay folks, so today on the menu we have chili con carne, delicious, some Uncle Ben's Mexican bean rice, and to round it off, testing it out for the first time, British Army chocolate pudding in chocolate sauce. This is the real deal from the MOD, so it's going to be very interesting to see what it's like. I've got a couple packs of these, and yeah, if it turns out to be nice, I'm definitely going to buy a couple more, because Scout Shop in Belfast is selling them at a pretty damn good price. So if you're in Belfast or anywhere in Northern Ireland and you want to get some cheap MREs, the Scout Shop Belfast is probably the best place to get them at the moment. So yeah, it's actually not bad for a 3-course meal almost. I think it came to about £4 in total, so it's a lot cheaper than a 24-hour ration pack if you just do it yourself. Okay folks, just got our food on the boil now. Should hopefully not be too long. And there's a whole wave of smoke going in my eyes. It's definitely the one thing about camping that I do hate, is getting smoke in the eye. But as you can see, got our billy can, and it's just putting our fires out of embers now. So all being well, shouldn't be too long. Found some bits of birch bark. We're not going to use this here as tinder, obviously, because it's pretty wet, but just to show you what kind of stuff is in birch bark, we're going to put it on the fire and you'll see how it goes. It's just all the oils. Birch bark is laden in oil, resin kind of stuff, and it just goes up. You can hear it there crackling away. Pretty satisfying sound. Okay folks, so I would like to just have a wee chat first about the channel and, you know, where we're going. I want to say thank you for all the support so far. It has been phenomenal. I never would have imagined that people would find my adventures so interesting. So it's very humbling for, you know, everyone with the comments and the subscriptions and things like that. So it really does mean a lot. One thing though, during the week there, I had a very unexpected message on YouTube, which was from a BBC Northern Ireland researcher. And basically what they want to do is do a documentary on preppers in Northern Ireland. And obviously like I was never expecting in a million years, after 4 weeks on YouTube, being contacted by a BBC reporter for, you know, the helping part of a TV documentary, or in some way anyway. So it was a really good, really humbling experience. And you know, I promised that I would pass on the message that, you know, they are looking for other preppers in Northern Ireland to come forward and take part. So if you are interested, give us a message, and I'll get you the contact details. So they would greatly appreciate it, I think. And it's not set in stone yet. It's going for a commission review, I believe is the term they used, before they actually start getting all the details about, you know, the filming and such. But I think it's a great opportunity for preppers in Northern Ireland to put on a really good face of prepping. Unfortunately, sometimes preppers don't always get the best press. So I look at this as a good opportunity to really give people an idea of what prepping in Northern Ireland can mean. I mean, I can't say I speak for every prepper in Northern Ireland, but I think it will be a good opportunity nonetheless. And like I said, just give us a shout if you're interested. But one of the other things was, after that, I got contacted by another BBC journalist, but this one was for BBC Radio Ulster, and they want to put me on the radio for an interview. So that's really, again, really unexpected. Obviously, I said yes, as you would. Again, I view this as an opportunity to try and give a good face, a good positive view of prepping in Northern Ireland. Because, like I said, I know that there was quite a bit of controversy over the BBC UK, or the BBC documentary in England on preppers. There was a few people not very happy with the way the reporter acted. I myself, I thought that there were things that he should have done differently, but I don't get that impression with the BBC Northern Ireland ones. I think they're genuinely curious about what prepping is, and I'll do my best to represent. So yeah, but I want to say this. Basically, folks, this wouldn't have been possible without all your support. I'm very well aware that if I hadn't had the subscriptions, people viewing my videos, I would never have been even hitting the BBC radar. So I appreciate all the support that you guys are giving me. It really does mean a lot. And I'm going to keep these videos going. I enjoy doing it. It makes my day whenever I see comments in. You know, keep them going. Okay, folks. So we got our char tin, and we got some charcloth in it. So what I'm going to do is just set it on the embers here, and hopefully that should start the char. We may not have it ready by the end of the day, but we'll give it a shot. And yeah, we'll see how it goes. Basically, the idea is that it chars and it doesn't burn. That's why you put it in the tin, and there's minimal oxygen, so it turns into basically it turns it to char. Really, I'm not entirely sure about the science behind it, but it works, and it's pretty cool. And it's a great source of tinder. That's basically why we're doing it. It's essentially a kind of tinder that you can make on the go, which is handy. So yeah, pretty cool. So I don't know if you can see how clearly you can see it, folks, but there's a bit of smoke coming out from the hole that we've made in the char tin. And basically what this means that it's the charring process beginning. And how you know whenever it's finished is whenever there's no smoke coming out of the tin. And then basically that's your charcloth ready. So okay, folks, so we're going to check I think the charcloth is done. The smoke has stopped coming out of the tin. So have a wee look. And it is hot. So, oh jeez. Yep, that is hot. Yikes. And as you can see, don't know how clear that is, but it's a wee black cloth down to the bottom, and boy is that hot. You can see it there. completely charred. So now I've got my char tin. So what we'll do is we'll leave that in there, just let it cool down for a bit. Because I mean it is hot as hell. So we'll just leave that there on the side. Now, dinner seems to be going quite well. Hopefully shouldn't be much longer. Okay folks, so we're gonna have to head on now. It's starting to get pretty dark. I think it's about 15 minutes until sunset, so fortunately we can't stay. To be honest though, the weather would have been good for staying over, but unfortunately we have work in the morning. So it's been good. It's been another wee short episode, but I hope you guys enjoy it. Tried a couple of different things this time. Tried some new foods, new wild foods that is. We made some charcloth. So it was definitely an interesting experience, and it's been good. I'm not sure if we'll be out next weekend. Being it all depends on the weather, to be honest. Maybe we might be out next weekend because well, the weekend we had this weekend was pretty poor in terms of the weather with that storm. But next weekend apparently it's meant to be all right. But Northern Ireland being Northern Ireland, the weather is incredibly changeable. But I hope you've enjoyed watching. If you have any suggestions on what I should try next whenever I go out my adventures, post a comment below. We'll give it a shot. We'll see what we can do. If you have any ideas, anything you would like to see me try, just post it and we'll give it a go. So thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.